All right, everyone, look how windy it is. It's wild. Wild, I tell you. There's the sun. Today we're going to talk about how to love yourself for reals, right? For real. And I was going to come back in my car because it was so windy and put on my makeup first, but I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to just do this as is. My name is Dr. Cheryl Meyer, right? Oops. And so, I teach people, I teach myself, and I teach people how to navigate your spiritual awakening, how to know more about love, because we are that. We're made out of love, and you're meant to have it. You're meant to have it. You're meant to be it. You're meant to have it flow through you, because why not, Like, I know that seems very easy and logical, but if we're made out of it and we're made in the image of it, then why not have it flow through us like this wind, This wind. It doesn't have to be super wild sometimes, just because we are wild, we're not, the spirit is wild in us. We're meant to, ascend to high places. So let's get back here. Let's get back here to how to do this, right? Because everyone's like, oh, you got to love yourself, right? But if you are indulging yourself, then you're treating yourself like a drug. And then you just keep getting high off yourself, and you keep getting high off other people. And what goes up must come down. There's a crash. And I don't want you to have that. I want you to have real lasting love, right? I want to know what love is. I want you to show me. Okay, good. I'm glad that just came up, right? Because we're meant to have, if you go to all of the motivational guru type people that say, I'm not your guru. I had an intervention by one, 2 hours in front of 500 people. Anyway, they'll tell you, and psychologists will tell you too, that it's important for you to have a corrective emotional experience. And so repetition is the mother of skill. If you keep repeating this new stuff, I will not be denied. This is my season. No one's going to take this from me. I'm unstoppable. If you repeat these things, right? But you could listen to a song 100 times and not take it in for yourself, that it's meant to be something for you. And so when that song just came up, I trust songs come up from my intuition, and I say sometimes, from Holy Spirit, if you want to understand it that way. We're made out of spirit, we're like souls, and we're in a body. And so, it's like the Holy Spirit of divine love will remind me of these things. But anyway, the song said, I want you to show me. So we're meant to have what's called corrective emotional experiences. If our parents were one way when we were age 0 to 4, firstborn, or, even in utero, and then let's say they got sober and conscious and became really aware and did all this inner work, and then they're like, we're so sorry for the past. And from 4 until 18, we got a whole load of corrective emotional experiences. A lot of that would undo what happened in the past, right? And so we meet someone new and we're like, oh, this loving relationship, they look like they're going to heal all this stuff. And, what psychologist books say, because I'm a psychologist for the past 20 plus years, right, is that you find an amalgamation of the positive and negative traits of your parents. And that's what you're unconsciously drawn to. And sometimes, you're drawn to all your old wounds that didn't get worked out yet. And so it's like we can find someone that can be really empathic because they've gone through those same wounds too. Now, let's just say this is a brief example, right? Because I have a different direction that this is going in. I mean, I trust, but yeah. All right. Is that let's say both of you guys were ignored or stepped on by your parents, right? Or your parents just weren't present. Maybe they were working all the time. Maybe they were achieving all the time or whatever. But you missed out on that closeness, that intimacy, intimacy, you know, the real knowingness of us. And like, I love you and I want to be present with you and I love your presence. And, you know, not what have you done for me lately? You know, and so when we didn't get that, some people shut down and they go really in and they seem independent and all quiet and like they have it all together. Really, you know, they've just shut down their heart. Now, there are people that have worked through this stuff and actually do have a lot of this together and know how to let the love of divine love, just God, you know, aka God, flow through them and be in them and live in that. And they're confident in that, you know, truly are, right? But so sometimes, and then it's like, so let's just say a girl and a guy, right? The guy goes into his cave and goes in and I don't need anything and denies that and hardens his heart. The girl is like, I need everything. And I'm just making an example right now. This is, it doesn't have to be this gender specific right now, but and is like very outward and vocal, because I've seen it reverse. I have seen this reverse for sure. But she's really outward and vocal and like, I'm going to go take what I want and talk about it and be communicative and say, this is what didn't happen and this is what didn't happen. And she looks all like confident in that way and he looks confident in this way. But really, they're two sides of the same coin of people that are shut down in a way, that don't know that they're really worth love and they can have love. And I want to teach you how to have that right now, okay? So instead of keep going to the other person, and then when they're in a relationship, it all falls apart because he doesn't know how to love and she just knows how to complain about not being loved. Like, she doesn't know either. And she's drawn to that because she knows she wants to come more inward and he looks like he's inward. And he is drawn to that because he wants to go more outward and be expressive because she looks more expressive, right? But when they're both at extremes, right, they're not actually in the balance. They're not actually in what you call like the yin and the yang, or the Mary and Martha, if you understand it like that. Mary sat at the feet of Christ and Martha was busy working, you know. One was a contemplative, one was active, you know. And so they show those dynamics. And so right before I went into a meeting in here, if you want to call it a meeting, it's a meeting with me. And anyway, I get all blushed. That's so funny. Okay, but anyway, it was I'll just leave it at that because I don't want to alienate anyway. I always welcome all faith practices, all religions, even if you're an atheist and don't have a faith practice. You are a soul as far as what I understand. And so you have soul remembrance. You know, Plato says we go into this sea of forgetfulness and we forget the past, but we also, everything learned is remembering. And so I'm just helping you wake up to your remembrance, right? And so I had this extra time and I'm never here early. And so I got here early and I'm like, I'm going to just sit here. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to be, right? But then I started writing and I got like this insight. And this is like, if you're a man and you want to put he, then just put he in all of these things. If you're a woman, then you can keep it she, and or however, you know, I love you as you are. So I just want you to know it's how to love, right? How to love aright, because you don't, like I said, you don't want to spoil yourself, but you want the fullness of love always to be flowing to you, right? Now, if this goes over 15 and you're cut off on my other social media, go over to YouTube and subscribe there. I encourage you to do that because I put lots more stuff on that, and that's just where I concentrate. And I do my best to put it other places, but they cut off at certain times. So, okay. So, all right. So flow with this. Listen to this really deeply and listen to it over and over again. If it helps you learn how to love, I really think it will, because it comes from 30 years of me searching for this, you know, because I went to school for 9 years and then I've been practicing 20. Anyway, but it's not just that. It's because I'm passionate about understanding the love of divine love and having that in my life and giving it to you so you have it in your life, because I don't want anyone to be left without. Just like if you were like a multi-billionaire and you wanted to like feed the whole world, it's like that. All right. I don't ever want to put her down. Okay, so I'll just start it. How to love Aright. I don't ever want to put her down, because she's been put down long enough. I don't ever want to lie to her, because she's been lied to enough. I never want to reject her, because she's been rejected and left lonely for far too long. I never want to treat her like an object, because she knows what that feels like, and she's worth more respect. I never want to get her drunk, because she's worth so much more than that. She's worth me stable and fun, thoughtful and reliable. She's worth being set free so she can live wildly in the middle of the deepest love she's ever known. I never want to throw her past at her, because she's been redeemed, paid in full. No debts are left upon her name. She's asked for forgiveness. This is what I was thinking in there. She's asked for forgiveness with full sincerity, and it's hers. It's hers for the taking. And it's written, you know, the punishment that was hers, that was yours, I have taken that upon myself. By his wounds we are healed. And you can read that with Aslan if you want to understand it in a picture form in Lewis's book. But I correct her. I wrote this in there. I correct her because I don't want her to suffer from the same mistakes over and over again for the rest of her life. So I take the time to teach her and correct her because I love her. I embrace her because I know she longs for this, and it is something I am glad to provide her with. I never want to speak ill of any of her friends, because that opens the door for them to speak ill of her and tears down the trust that we and they have worked so hard to build up. I never want to turn my back on her, because she's seen too many backs of heads. No more of that, right? She's worth the intimacy I bring to her. I never want to give her scraps, but always aim for excellence. Even when I'm not that good at something, to aim for excellence, because she is worth the best. I love teaching her by my actions that she is worth so much more than waiting for scraps. I always want to learn about highest love and highest consciousness and how to give that and how to receive that, because she was always worth that love. She is worth that love. She was made out of and in the image of divine love. This is the love that the cosmos was made out of. Who am I to limit that love? Right? Who am I to limit that love? And I could have gone on for 2 hours, but I only had 20 minutes or so, right? And I give this to you. It may seem trite, but you have corrective emotional experiences. You don't have to wait for the boyfriend or the girlfriend or the spouse or the parent or your boss or the world to give you accolades and likes and all of that stuff. Believe me, I've gone so much without that. I had to learn, how do I get this then? Because it's not coming from all those places. God does you a favor, and there's a verse about I take her out to the wilderness places, and God is talking about Israel, but so that I can win her back to my love, win her back to my love, with my love. And so we go to these desert places. It's a kind of purging, a cleansing out, so that we can know what real love is, Want you to show me. I was like, wow, I guess I am the singing psychologist. I didn't know that that's what I was. I'm sensing that lately, but It doesn't matter about me at all. All I am is a vessel for you to know about you. You can give that corrective experience. You take hold of the divine love, plug yourself into that, and give that to yourself all day long. That's it, practice this at home. It's not complicated, but our egotism always wants a problem, always wants to make it complicated. Now understand, our egotism always comes from lack, and the mind always comes from lack, right? The mind is here as an instrument, just like a piano. The piano doesn't run my life. I play the piano. And so your mind is an instrument. And it's important for you to know that, because the mind, it's part of its function is to see problems and fix them and work through them. But part of seeing problems all the time is always seen in lack. And when you're looking in the mirror and you're like, oh, I didn't put makeup on yet, or whatever, and it's like, or whatever, like I put some under eye stuff before, then it's always coming from lack, and you always feel like you're not enough, and you're perpetuating that old message from childhood, from the backs of the heads that you've seen from other people, that you're not enough and you have to prove yourself, and you have to be excellent so people think you're excellent. No. There's a line in Hey Jude, and I'm working on that song right now, but it's just like, you think you have to have someone to perform with. You don't have to have someone to perform with. It's such a beautiful line. I'm gonna tear up if I think about it, but it's like, to perform with, it's something like, you're okay just the way you are. I probably ought not to quote them anyway, because they probably have high copyright rules for them. Anyway, just know that you are worth learning about this love. You are worth being conscious about this. You are worth, why would I put this in over 600 videos on YouTube? So that you have access to know these things, so that by my warmth, you have corrective emotional experiences. That's what I was going to say, is the egotism is in lack. And so look, when you're a child, you have to wait for the parent. You can't be like, oh, I'm one, I can make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You can't even eat that really at one, but it's like, you can't go warm your milk up yourself. If you have a bottle or something, you got to wait for the parent to come in. And so you're used to being out down here waiting. And then we find another person and we're like, oh, we're equal. And then they put you in a parent position, like, I'm a child, you have to feed me now, and it's like, no, I'm the child, you have to feed me. And then I'm the parent yelling at this child, why aren't you feeding me? And then the relationship just falls apart, because we are meant to be equal. If both people are plugged into God, right, to divine love, that means just you're understanding what the nature of love is. And God is isness. God doesn't have to be this, horrible being in the sky. We often have an amalgamation of the ideas of the worst parts of our moms and dads, and we project that onto God. God is not that. God is so much more than that. Just like you're so much more than any addictions you have, or your old patterns, or any of the ways you treated yourself before, or treated other people. Today is a new day. It is a new day. This moment is a new moment. Know yourself as isness, and you know yourself by experiencing that. Watch my other videos on essence and personality, and some of my other ones where you're just sitting there going, who am I? Beyond your name, beyond your skin color, beyond your religion, beyond your race, beyond your national identity or anything. Who are you? That's your isness. And God is divine love. God is beyond he and she's flowing love isness. And you are that. And we're meant to know that and be reconciled to that. And, if God is just, then, oh yeah, I have a whole video to make about how we are in a matrix, and if we got unplugged to God, there was someone that came into our matrix, to plug us back into God and reconcile us to a loving God. But that had to happen because we chose somehow to get out of that. Anyway, there's a lot to that. I won't get into all the theology, but I just want you to know love, and I don't want to make this cumbersome. I want you to know that you can give yourself this corrective emotional experience. You can internalize a new parent because you are being a new parent, because you choose to act a different way, because you consciously choose that. Not because you know that or you feel like you're worth that, because you know in your head, I am worth that, and I choose to act according to that truth. All right, I could say so much more, but I'll leave it at that. I wish you so much love. Share and like and comment and all of those things, because you're the one that gets this to other people. That's in loving other people, you learn about real love. You know, I've done this for 3 years with nothing back, you know, nothing, no monetary or anything like that. Maybe like a few dozen comments in 3 years. So I'm not feeling sorry for myself. I'm saying I'm so glad now, because it kept me searching for love and not external validation. I wish you so much love.